I've moved it in quite a bit. Okay.
You're perfect.
I went and did a Google search on EFT, and there seems to be a lot of criticism. How would you address the criticism, the naysayers of EFT? What do we do? What do we say? How should we defend it? Do we defend it? How do you,
I have not seen negative stuff about EFT. I guess I was looking in the wrong places.
Yeah.
There's a lot on it. Gary Craig is its originator.
Mm-hmm.
The most generous person in the world. He retired in January, and he is really beloved, and I have never seen anything negative. What kind of negative things did you see?
Oh, okay. Well, I'll pull it up here. Just a sec. It says, is EFT a scam? And it deals with Eastern philosophy. All I did was Google EFT, and I got the first 4 or 5 hits were criticizing. And you know how the skeptics go? There's people out there, there's skeptics out there that want to do everything to prove you wrong, no matter what it is. It's just a pessimistic society, like a little club, and they just do everything they can to prove anything wrong. And these are the people that are in the debate clubs, and if you say white, they're going to say black, kind of thing. Yeah. So
I find that that's okay, because to me, I prefer to work with a skeptic and say, hey, let's do what I started doing with you yesterday and see if there's a change. I don't bother defending it. I just say, let's do it. See if there's a change.
And that works.
Huh? And that works. It's always worked for me. There are people say, do you have to believe it for it to work? And I say, no. You don't have to believe it at all. You don't even have to participate if you really don't want to.
I guess possibly that's what the skeptics are probably hammering away in, is maybe it's the belief system that they bring into question. Maybe that the people have to believe, and what you're saying is you don't even have to believe in it for it to work.
No. And the other reason for a skeptic might be that if they have taken 6 years or 8 years of their lives in therapy and still have not solved their problem, and here I'm saying, hey, we can do this really quickly without the trauma, then that means that they're wrong, and people don't like being wrong. I'd rather you be wrong.
See, that's a brilliant point. I'm writing an ebook, and one of the big tenets in the ebook is, if it works for you, try it and do it. If it doesn't work for you, then it's okay, right?
Yeah.
But you have to experiment with it. People are afraid to experiment. They hear things from other people and say, oh, it's no good, or it's a washout, or don't believe it. And that comes from an opinion that they trust, and then they hear 3 or 4 opinions of the same thing, and then they just walk away from it and never use the technique, right?
Well, yeah, and people usually say, I like that person because they agree with the way I think.
Yeah.
Right? As opposed to saying, I like that person because he's got new ideas. When it comes to EFT, I don't know if you've heard of Dr. Mercola.
No.
He's quite well known in circles. People like Deepak Chopra, who is known in circles, Bruce Lipton, whom I've sent you stuff about. Mm-hmm. All of these people, Joe Vitale, all of these people are really fond of EFT. And they're people who were in programs like The Secret. All of those people are fascinated. Donna Eden is fascinated. Lots of big names are fascinated and work with EFT.
So Bruce Lipton is one of he's a molecular biologist, and so he's interested.
Absolutely.
He likes EFT?
Yeah, loves it, uses it.
He uses it?
Uses it.
Really? Yeah. Oh, I'm going to have to do some research on that.
So what you have to look up is emotional freedom, what is it? EFT.com?
Okay, I shall do that.
Okay, and on that page there are people, all the different people. Actually, I will email you some of the links where you can find other people that are involved in it, and famous people.
Sure.
So that you can get a feeling for it from people who use it across the world.
Sure, yeah. And I think you had a really valid point. If people are going to a therapist for 5 or 6 years and spending thousands of dollars and not making progress, they're kind of embarrassed when they find a system that works very, very quickly. And that means that they made not a bad choice, but they made a poor choice as far as throwing a lot of money into a solution because somebody told them they should.
And that's been the belief, is that you have to suffer to get through something, and EFT doesn't make you suffer.
Interesting. Where did we get that belief where we have to suffer?
From the Depression.
Yeah?
Well, yeah, in the Depression you had to work hard to make a buck. The belief at that time, and with the Chinese people, the Asian people now, is as far as a medicine, it has to taste bad and be difficult to deal with. It has to smell bad, and then it's good for you. It has to hurt, and then it's good for you.
Yeah.
To be beautiful, you have to suffer. If you made money easily, you probably cheated. All of those are Depression thinking.
Interesting.
Because people have to work so hard during the 30s, and those are our forefathers.
So does that... Okay, so we were very, very close to a depression here. We were going through a recession, right?
Yeah.
So does that, when you look at a recession, that kind of thing, is there a resurgence in this kind of holistic health modality? Does it become more popular or less popular? What happens there?
I think it will become more popular and more popular because the aging generation have been hippies.
Yes, yeah.
And so they already have beliefs that allow them to become wealthy, but not by following the crowd. They've always stepped outside of the box.
Interesting.
So I think that's why there'll be a resurgence. And also because people are having a lot of trouble with the medical model, because it's not fixing the things they hoped. Because so much is coming out about medication that is negative for you. And if you've been taking a medication and now are in fear because it's dangerous, that's scary.
Oh, it sets up a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
And then going back...
It sets up doubt as well.
Oh, yeah. And then going back to what you said yesterday on our first podcast, you said stress and anxiety is what will push a disease to the top, right? To the forefront?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And it stops your immune system.
Yeah. It suppresses it or depresses it.
It suppresses it. Yeah.
Okay, so let's start where we left off yesterday, because the sound screwed up so badly. I don't know what happened. It was just 15-minute mark, boom, it just went all squirrely and I couldn't recover it. So we were talking about EFT, and you had me do an EFT technique